damage.
So a while back I did a review for a game called Starseige, and while at least in my amateur opinion it was a good game with a few rough spots, I really like the vehicles and the lore behind them, as if you were taking a deep dive into the Starseige-Earthseige universe, it is very story rich, especially if you're willing to take a deeper, or I should say an even deeper dive into all the included lore and short stories in the manual. So I've decided to start a new series based on my own thoughts on the vehicles available in game, as well as their role in the universe and a general breakdown of their components and performance. And to start off, we're going to begin with the Rebel mainline tank, the Dreadlock. So the Dreadlock at first glance doesn't really seem like all that much. It's a retrofitted bulldozer, and its appearance very much reflects that. The thick dozer blade in front, an almost backhoe-like cabin, obviously up-armored, and the oddly shaped caterpillar tracks. Then you have the obvious hardpoints located on top. In universe, it's much the same. It's an iconic piece of kit from the Martian Rebels' patchwork armory, and is sometimes used as an engineering vehicle to dig fortifications or clear debris. So it's basically just a technical, which is kind of neat, now that I think about it. Sci-fi technical. Anyways, weighing at 45 tons, it's the fourth lightest vehicle in the game, with the Avenger and Cyber tanks being lighter, placing it squarely into what I would consider a medium tank. Configuration-wise, it's surprisingly solid. To give a quick rundown, equipment from reactors to weapons to various systems all come in different sizes and must be replaced into the relevant slots, and as it is a tank, it does not mount shields. To put this into perspective, tanks have more armor than Hercs, which are the mechs of this universe, but mechs can mount, or Hercs can mount shields. So, save for its sensor and computer slots, all of its hardpoints for equipment are medium, large, or in the case of weaponry, extra large. Its engine's solid, a heavy cruise engine, meaning you can trundle along at 108 kilometers per hour, and it also has a large reactor, which is good for the more energy-hungry systems. An ultralight sensor, as it can only accommodate small versions of this, provides detection out to 900 meters, or 500 meters passive, and it has an improved computer suite to help with targeting. It also has stock armor, which is quad-bonded metaplas, and its armament's a pair of heavy blasters on its extra-large hardpoints. These are placed on the left and right sides of the vehicle, respectively. Equipment-wise, as it's a tank, so to make up for the lack of shields, it gets 3 pieces of gear: auxiliary battery, cloaking, and a turbine booster. All in all, it's a pretty solid package. The heavy blasters, despite not being the most popular of weapons, deal 535 damage to shields and 482 to armor. So it's got a solid as all get punch, and if I recall right, the heavy blasters actually partially punch through shields, so you're going to be doing some damage to the hull either way. The tank is also reasonably durable, with 2200 hit points for armor and 900 internal, shown in this diagram here, with the internals of each component in red and the armor in green, with the majority being concentrated on the dozer blade, making it excellent for full frontal assaults, though if you get focused in or get unlucky enough to get hit by a macrofusion cannon, you're gonna be folding like a stack of cards, though the dozer blade can protect you from more than a couple of hits from these. The cloaking also allows you to make an escape, or at least hide your damaged components, and reduce your radar signature, thus buying a little bit more time. The extra battery obviously is handy for the more power-hungry equipment, and the turbine booster allows you to speed in and out of trouble. It's also got a smallish profile, so it's harder to hit and easier to go hull down behind obstacles if possible. I've honestly had a lot of fun with this. Being able to ram some unsuspecting fool, or a Herc that's too slow to get out of the way, and then punch well above my weight class is always a blast, and the Dreadlock can take more than a couple of hits, even if you're facing down some of the harder hitting weapons. The MFAC aside, the MFAC's going to fold in almost anything like a stack of cards, to be fair. Now, it's not all fun and games. Given the size of some of the components, they tend to eat up a lot of your free tonnage for weapons, and unfortunately, outside of using the heavy blaster, if you want tonnage for something like, say, a railgun or a PBW, you're going to need to do a little bit of fiddling. In order to free tonnage without affecting overall performance, I usually wind up switching out the reactor and computer for their cyber counterparts and the lighter improved heavy engine, as it offers similar performance to the heavy cruise engine, save for accelerating slower. That is, unless you're willing to skip on as much as possible, either in armor, that being the carbon fiber armor, or even no armor if you're feeling brave, although most of the time I just stick a pair of railguns on it if I'm feeling frisky, and drop the battery and ECM, or the battery for ECM, and maybe bump down the reactor to the Cyber Alpha for a universal ammo pack, as Cloak doesn't eat through energy nearly as fast as one would think. And given the fact the railgun is a half-decent weapon, it's got good endurance, 40 rounds, 80 with the UAP. I have found that it seems to get its weapons blown off a little bit more often, especially when using the larger ones like the MFAC or railgun, but this seems to be the case for any vehicle in general, be it tank or hybrid. And even though it can mount extra large weaponry, even with the vaunted alien anti-grav generator, which frees up 5 tons for you, Its performance is a little lackluster if you're trying to mount these heavier weapons. It usually requires some fiddling with your gear. I've tried particle beam weapons, quantum guns, and even the heavy blast cannon. It just doesn't seem to gel all that well with them. The weapons that seem to work out the best are the blaster types, the autocannons, and railguns. Missiles might work, but you're honestly better off not using them, as even the largest of them have extremely limited endurance, and I've always found unless you're engaging in a straight-up brawl, they tend to be a bit hit or miss. And the mines, well, the less said or better. Simply put, when used as a sniper platform with the railguns, a skirmisher, a brawler, or even an ambush unit, the Dreadlock excels at bringing the pain wherever. If you need a quick response unit to help stabilize the situation, hit your turbine booster, go in, ram somebody, and start kicking ass. But if you try to shove it in any other roles, such as artillery, or if you're trying to pack some of the heavier weapons, unless you're willing to compromise on its overall performance, you're going to suffer a little bit. Anyways, this has been the first episode of Starseige Vehicle Thoughts, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.